Hello and welcome to our new series for developers. In this video, we are going to learn how to create a FlutterFlow app that connects to our RobomotionFlow as a backend. Before beginning, ensure that you sign up for a FlutterFlow account if you don't already have one. A free plan will suffice to proceed. Let's start by creating a new app named Hello World in FlutterFlow. Now, in the RobomotionFlow, we will start with an app in node to initiate our flow, instead of our usual inject node. The app in node receives a request from the FlutterFlow application and passes it into the flow for processing. The response to the app request will be returned from the app out node. We will use a function node to set a response that will be returned. We can return any suitable JSON object as a response, but to keep it simple, we'll just return OK true. The app out node's default input waits for a value in message.out. We can name it anything, but no change is required since that is what we have set in the function node. We will also add a debug node to see what is coming from the FlutterFlow app. This is useful for debugging messaging between the front end and the back end. Later, we will see how to observe the back end response on the FlutterFlow side. Now, we will save the flow and then create a new version. Let's call it initial version. Then publish the flow to make it available in the admin console. Navigate to the admin console from the menu, then proceed to the Apps page to create an app in Robomotion. Click on the Create App button, then uncheck the Headless App option. Headless apps are essentially flows without a user interface. Currently, you can set any custom URL. It doesn't matter during development. This URL will be the address where the final Flutter application is hosted. For now, we can enter robomotion.app here, and we can update it later. Let's call our app Hello World. Select the published flow and then choose the recently created version of the flow. In this field, you can add an icon URL for your app, which will serve as the primary icon on the app's dashboard. Then click Create. Afterward, when you visit the app's dashboard and refresh it, you will notice the addition of the new app. On the app icon, select the Manage Instances option from the menu. There's currently no instance for this app. But before creating one, let's check the Robots page in Admin Console. This is the current list of various types of robots in our workspace. Now, creating a new app instance will automatically generate a new application robot in your workspace that shares the same name as the instance. When you refresh this page, you will see the new application robot. You can connect this robot with the desktop app, like any other robot. But we will connect the robot from the terminal for better debug output. Use the command line tool to connect your robot. Select the application robot and then run the flow on this application robot. The flow has started, but nothing has been triggered because the app in node requires an application connected to the robot to send a request in order to trigger the flow. Now we can return to our FlutterFlow app. FlutterFlow is a low-code development environment for creating mobile and web applications. To learn how to use FlutterFlow, you can access a variety of resources, including documentation and videos available on the FlutterFlow YouTube channel. In this series, we will not delve deeply into FlutterFlow and will assume you have familiarity with it. Here, we will start by adding a new custom action. Name it Connect. We will copy the custom action code from a gist. The link is available in the description. Now, copy the code and then paste it into the custom action editor. We are using Robomotion's Flutter library for the integration, so we need the dependency to be added here. Add the package name and version to this section. We will now create a global app state variable that will hold our Robomotion object instance created in the connect method. Go to App Values, click Add App State Variable, name it Robomotion, and select the JSON type. In Dart, JSON types are dynamic, allowing to handle various object instances. We now need to change the instance ID here to connect the app with our robot. You can obtain your application instance's ID using this copy button. Return to FlutterFlow, paste the entire instance URL, and replace the instance ID parameter value. We only need this for the FlutterFlow test mode and also run mode during development. When we release our app for production, we will comment out this section. The instance ID will be dynamically taken from the query parameters. Let's now leave the instance ID and then click the Save Action button. Now we can proceed. We now need to call the Connect custom action. In main.dart, we will add this action call to the Final Actions section. Now, when the application starts, it will first try to connect to the robot instance. Do not forget to click Save before leaving. And then let's return to our app user interface. We will keep it simple and add 2 text fields and a button to our app. Let's start a text field. Add another text field, then rename the first widget as Name, and set the label of this text field to Enter Name. We will use these widget names when we are calling the custom actions. Next, change the other text field's name to Email and set the label to Enter Email. We will pass the collected data from these text fields to our flow when the Register button is clicked. So we can now continue adding our button. Add the button from the available widgets in the widget tree pane and then change the button text as Register. Suppose this is an event application and you're trying to pass the name and email to the flow when you press the Register button. Now here, for the Register button, we need to create another custom action. In Custom Code page, click the Add button and then select Action, Set Register for the name. Then copy the code from the gist and paste it. You can find the gist URL in the description. We will later see what this code does. Then we need to add the dependency. After adding it, save the new custom action named Register. To recap, our custom connect action is now ready. When our application starts, connect is called in the final actions of the main.dart, and it connects the application to the robot instance and the running flow. The messaging between an app and the flow works in an asynchronous way. So you can send a message from the application to your flow using the append method of the created Robomotion object instance. We create the Robomotion object instance in the connect method and then save it in the global FlutterFlow app state so that any custom action can access it. Here, we can reach the Robomotion object instance from the app state and use the appIn method. This will send a request to the flow, triggering the appIn node. You can send any JSON object containing the data you need to process in your flow. There are no strict rules here. Here it is simply a JSON object that holds the parameters passed to this custom action when the register button is clicked. Then the appIn method will pass this JSON to the flow. We are now ready to see the app in action and test the connection between the app and our flow. But before that, let's connect our custom action to the register button. In the Button Actions pane, click Add Action, and then select the Custom Action option. Choose Register. Now, for this name value, we will select the name text field. Search for name, and you will find it. And for the email, we can select the email text field. Repeat the same steps. Now we are ready. And let's start our FlutterFlow app in test mode. If you see this UI, it means that main.dart called the connect custom action and successfully connected the app to the flow. Let's check the debug output. Currently, no message has been received. Now return to the app, fill in the fields, and click the Register button. And then return to the Flow Designer. Now, when you check the flow, you can see that the appIn node is triggered. And in the debug output, we can see that we have successfully received the JSON object sent from the UI. We have also returned a response. When you return to the test mode page and press F12 in Chrome, you can see the response from the flow here in the console, as we have printed it from the FlutterFlow custom action. In this video, we learned how to connect a FlutterFlow application to a RobomotionFlow, send a request, and receive a response. Thank you for watching.